from our heart, living from our core, living from our power, we all get more. We are powerful women.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Alignment Summit. I'm Sue Erda. I'm your host for this event, and I'm one of the publishers at Powerful You Publishing. And it is such an honor for me to be here and to introduce these amazing women to you who are the co-authors of the upcoming book, Women Living in Alignment. And they just all inspire me. They make me think about things, they expand my mind, and they touch my heart. So I know that they'll do the same for you. And I know that's why you're here, because you are on your own journey of living in alignment. And so they're going to share their journeys, some things that they have learned for you to help you on your journey. So today I get the honor of talking with Stephanie Kraft, and her title for the interview, and I know this is why you're here, it's The Gifts of Alignment, Stepping into Your Purpose. So Stephanie's going to talk about that. I'm going to read a brief introduction of her, and then we'll talk with her. Stephanie Kraft is an intuitive energy healer and master hypnotherapist with a Master's of Science degree. She has a unique healing gift that she received through a series of energetic downloads. Her healing gift calibrates higher than unconditional love on a scale of consciousness. As an intuitive and empathic healer, she uses her spiritual gifts to guide her clients into freedom and peace by helping them release issues and return to their true selves. Stephanie communicates with her clients' higher selves to bring through messages and guidance. Her hypnotherapy and energy healing sessions are transformational and life-changing, even in just one session. And Stephanie, I'm happy to welcome you. How are you?
Hi, Sue. I'm fine. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. I am happy to talk to you. You know, purpose is one of these things that I'm so excited about because I love watching people as they get into their purpose. So, and you're going to be talking about that today. So that's wonderful. So, you know, Stephanie, I mentioned a lot of things that you do. Can you tell us, how did you get into the healing arts?
Well, in the year 2000, I was contemplating very strongly getting a PhD in psychoneuroimmunology. And I had already gotten a Master's of Science in Health Promotion Management, but I really felt the desire to work with people at a very deep level. And I was very interested in the mind-body connection, which is psychoneuroimmunology. And so I had noticed that a friend of mine or a classmate from my master's program had gone on to become an acupuncturist. And I gave him a call and I said, can you tell me, I said, I'm thinking about getting a PhD in psychoneuroimmunology or a master's in acupuncture. What can you tell me about your experience becoming an acupuncturist? And he said, Stephanie, if you become a PhD, it's all about research. It's all about, publishing and teaching. If you really want to help people at a deep level, acupuncture is about mind, body, spirit. And when he said that to me, the word spirit rang out because it was the piece that I was missing. I was so focused on mind, body. And when he said spirit, I knew this is what I need to do. This is what's calling me. However, I hadn't yet had my massive spiritual awakening, but it was like, probably I was on the verge of it because it did end up happening the same year in 2000. So I had a massive spiritual awakening and I continued on this path toward becoming a healer without really knowing to call myself a healer yet. So a lot happened that year. I wrote about it in the book, which I won't go into right now, but it became a very tumultuous time for me. And I got actually very sick as well. So then in the next year, 2001, I actually took my first Reiki training and I got certified in Reiki level 1 and 2. And then in 2002 the Reiki master level 3, master teacher level. So I started teaching Reiki. The whole idea of going to acupuncture school, it's a very long story. I started some of the program, but I ended up, a lot went on. My father died. I was very sick. I couldn't end up going to school at that time. And I actually go into detail on some of those issues in the book, which there's a very interesting story in there. But anyway, long story short, I became a Reiki master and started doing the healing work. Then in 2002, I ended up teaching Reiki for 14 years. And I became a hypnotherapist in 2004. So I'll talk a little bit about both because I do both, but in 2006, I had a very interesting experience, which people call a walk-in experience. And this is when a portion of my own soul or higher self embodied within me that had not been here before. So there was a complete change of, I wouldn't say complete, but a very massive change that happened within me. It was as if I were looking through new eyes. And I technically did have the feeling of looking through brand new eyes here on earth, and a lot changed for me at that time. And one of the things that started happening was I started to receive these energetic pulsations through my body of, I would call it a healing energy that was, I guess, acclimating within me over time, because I would wake up in the morning lying in my bed and I would feel this pulsing going back like throughout my whole body. And I would just lay there until it was complete. And then in the daytime, I would be just sitting in a chair and I would feel this spiraling energy throughout my body. And I felt like I'm really receiving a lot of new energy. And this went on for a few years. And then one day, in 2009, I had a spiritual experience in the nighttime when I was sleeping, but it wasn't a dream. It was more like I went somewhere and I was being instructed in healing the human body. I saw that there were beings of light teaching me, and they put the human body up on a silhouette so I could see the human body, and they were instructing me on healing. And then when I woke up, I felt, and they had given me this notion of giving me this healing gift, or that I had it. And so an interesting thing happened. I decided to sort of test it out. And I didn't do Reiki. Like I was, doing healing on a client. And I said to myself, let me not turn Reiki on. Let me just place my hands and see what happens when I do nothing. And when that happened, meaning do nothing, meaning don't turn Reiki on, and just let the energy flow naturally on my own. And when that happened, it felt like 100 or 1,000 times stronger than Reiki had felt. So I said to myself, I'll never do Reiki again. I have this gift. I'm just going to do this. So I started offering my own unique healing modality. Doesn't have a name. It's just energy healing. I just call it energy healing. And so that was the progression of the energy healing journey. And that's what I've been doing all of these years still today, whether it's on the phone or in person. It works in both ways. And I'll just go back to the hypnotherapy, because that's part of the journey of getting into the healing arts as well. I had a really interesting thing happen when I was a hypnotherapist. So I became a hypnotherapist in 2004, and I had been doing anything you can imagine with hypnotherapy plus past life regression. I was very, actually, one of my awakening books was by Brian Weiss called Many Lives, Many Masters. And that book really sparked, something within me early on around 2000, 2001. I don't remember the year. So people would ask me, why did you become a hypnotherapist? And I didn't really have an answer. It was just sort of like a automatic, almost robotic thing of like, this is what I'm doing. And I didn't have an answer other than it just was me. But then in 2007, I received an email from a friend, and the subject line read, I want to do this. And I opened up the email, and it was this article. And before I tell you what this article was about, I have to tell you something that I had been obsessed with what happens when we die. It was a nonstop thought process every day. I wanted to know what the spirit world was like. What do we do there? I just was obsessed, very curious. So when I opened up this article, it was about this type of hypnotherapy called Life Between Lives hypnotherapy. It was developed by Michael Newton. And he wrote the book Journey of Souls, Destiny of Souls. Anyway, when I read this, it was about this person who had done a Life Between Lives hypnotherapy session where you go into a past life and you go to the other side after the time of death, and you experience the spirit world. You find out what we do there. You meet with your soul group members, you find out what kind of soul you are, what you're here to do or learn. And when I read this, I said to myself, this is why I became a hypnotherapist. So I knew then now why I had done that sort of robotic thing of let me become a hypnotherapist, but I don't know why. So that day I said, this is it. This is it. This is the answer to all of my questions. And I wrote back to my friend and I said, I looked up the training. It's going to be in 9 months in Chicago. I'm going to do it. I'll do your session after. And she said, no, I want to do it now. And so she said, just figure it out. And so I got the book for hypnotherapists. I did it and it was amazing. So that's the hypnotherapy piece. I do a lot of higher self communication, facilitation with clients. But anyway, that's my journey of becoming both the healer and the hypnotherapist.
Wow, that's a lot. I'm listening to you. I'm thinking that's so fascinating to me, all of the different things that you experienced. Now, my question for you is, did you ask for that? Were you excited about it? Were you because obviously you were open to it because you allowed all these feelings and you went with all the energy downloads and all those things. So how were you feeling along the way?
Yeah, no, I didn't ask for it. I just received it, like that new energy healing modality. I had been told years ago, during the early years that, Stephanie, you're going to be bringing forward a new healing technology and teaching it or something. And I thought to myself, in my mind, I translated that as I'm going to come up with something through my mind. But when this happened to me, I said, oh, this is it. It's being given to me and I'm just doing it. It's not something I could ever think. It's not anything having to do with the mind because I don't know how it works.
Wow, that's amazing. Really, really incredible. I love that you told us how this all happened for you. So let's talk about your clients and the work that you actually do with them. Tell us, what it's like when you work with a client. What do they experience? I mean, you have a lot of different, I'll call them tools, and obviously, energy to work with. So what do you do and what happened?
Well, one thing to mention is that I do have all of the clairs. So clairsentience, clairvoyance, clairaudience, claircognizance, and I'm an empath and intuitive. So when I'm doing the session, I just let myself open up to receive anything that their higher self or my higher self wants to impress upon me to let them know. And so I'm a medical intuitive, but the kind of medical intuitive I am is that I go into the root cause, which is usually emotional or spiritual, of anything going on in the body. Usually there's emotion in there and I clear that. So really when I'm working with clients, I'm working on the healing on all levels. And mind, body, spirit, emotional, mental, energy, all of it. So I do receive information. One of the main things that I do is I connect with the person's higher self. So whenever a session begins, I ask, please connect me with, so-and-so client higher self, please connect with me. And then they just open it up and begin communicating with me. I can either channel the higher self directly to the client or translate, this is what they're saying, this is what they're showing me. And that is how I'm guided throughout the session the whole time. And I share everything that I'm receiving. And it gets at the deep issues for everybody, clearing trauma, health issues, relationship issues. One of the major things that I help people with are relationships, because I do work with twin flames a lot, and that they happen to come to me. They came to me before I ever knew what that meant. Anyway, so when I'm working with a client, I do receive the information in all of the various ways through the inner sight, spiritual vision, auditorily, which is more like a silent communication, feeling. I'm a very strong empath, so I can feel actually in my body what's going on in their body. So very pinpointed, I can say, do you have a pain in your right rib in the middle, and like exactly. So I work with the person and communicate a lot. Are you feeling this, or did this happen to you when you were 5 years old? So I'll get visions. I'll just get a lot of information that can help guide the session. And it's a communication back and forth. I'm not like a psychic where I'm going to say, don't say a word, let me tell you everything. It's more of a dialogue and engaging with the client about everything they want to work on. And the energy healing is interesting because they can feel it. Most of my, if not really all of my sessions right now are over the phone because I've moved and no longer have an office in my location at this time, but it works just as well and amazingly well over the phone. And I feel like in a way, in some ways better because I'm able to tap in really without having all of that. This in person, you're feeling so much flowing through your body and in the client's body. And yes, it feels great for the client. But when I'm on the phone, I'm getting even more information because I'm tapping really into the consciousness of the soul and
Wow.
their body.
Yeah, that's great. So what kind of results have your clients experienced, or what changes have gone on in their life having done these sessions with you?
Right. That's a great question. I mean, really resolving anything and everything, trauma, healing, the body, resolving issues that they're working through in this lifetime. And really people come to me for help with anything from phobias, very specific phobias. I've even helped someone jump out of an airplane for fun, that like through hypnotherapy. So, people for the hypnotherapy, a lot of good past life regressions heal people with issues that they're having now, whether it's with people or their health. The life between lives is really helping people understand their soul and their journey, but the healing itself, like I said, anything from mental issues, anxiety, depression, trauma, health, childhood. I really work a lot with deep trauma and people have said to me after one session that it was more, healing than 10 or 20 years of talk therapy. So I try to get a lot done in one session. People ask me, how many sessions will I need? And I always say, well, I'm hoping just one.
That's great. That's amazing, really. And I've heard other stories like that, not often though, from other people about, specifically when people are working with hypnotherapy, there's something about that whole piece that somehow seems to do that. It's deeper, faster somehow. Does that make sense to you?
Yes, I get a lot done in one session. I go very deep. I cover a lot. I try to heal almost everything if we have time in that session. People really are amazed. I mean, they're shocked that we could do so much work in one session and they could feel so much lighter, so much happier, so much more at peace. Thank God we have this modality. Really.
Yeah, it's beautiful, wonderful. So I'm sure, Stephanie, there are people listening that are thinking, I want to open more to my spiritual gifts. I want more of this too. How do I do that? So what would you say to them?
Well, I would say just do the work. And by doing it, meaning, let's say you want to try energy healing, just begin, whether you're doing hands-on or distance. And when you're doing it, try to just almost have no mind, where you're receptive. What are you receiving? Is it a color? Is it a word? Is it a vision? Just listen. That's it. Calm the mind, feel your body, scan your body, feel what you're feeling. Because if you're an empath, you'll start to feel what the other person feels. If you're receiving information the other ways, by quieting the mind and being in a receptive state, you'll then be able to tune in to what you're receiving. So I don't think it's about, oh, I suddenly woke up with these spiritual gifts and then I started doing the work. I really think it's about do the work, be patient, and be in receptive mode and tune in and receive.
Okay, great. Wonderful. Everybody can do that. Right. Absolutely. So, so what advice do you have for people who want to receive guidance from their higher selves?
Oh, yeah. I get a lot of people asking me this question, and there are some very specific, easy things that people can do to practice this. One of the things is when you're in that state of waking up in the morning and you haven't yet opened your eyes, but you are beginning to wake up, begin to just tune in or observe what is going through your mind in that moment. And that is your higher self communicating with you. And if you know that you're going to be doing that ahead of time, your higher self will also know and will be giving you insights, answers to your questions, information, things you should be doing in your life more, like drinking more water or exercising or whatever. It can be simple things, but your higher self really does want to communicate with you and guide you in your life. And so during that time of waking up is a great time to listen to it. Another time is when you are driving, for example. And once you're driving, you actually do go into a state of hypnosis. It's called highway hypnosis. Most people do this automatically. It's just a brain wave rate, that slows down a little bit. And at that time, your higher self is talking to you. So after a while, just become the observer of your thoughts, what's going through your mind. And this is your higher self in the very subtle, silent voice. Silent, again, it's not audible. Usually, I mean, once in a while, people will have an experience where they have, oh, I heard this voice, but that's so rare. But on an everyday basis, people are receiving this soft, subtle whisper that's going on in the background all the time. And when we get into that hypnagogic state, which is the waking up state, or that driving state, or when you're taking a shower. When you're taking a shower, you're doing something routine, you're not even thinking about it. It lets your brain go into that hypnotic state again, without even trying. And this is, again, when you can pick up on the thoughts that are being sent to you from the higher self. So listening to yourself when you're washing the dishes, taking a shower, driving, walking, even I'll be quick because I think we're running out of time, but I will just say that when you want higher self communication, you can also ask for this before you go to sleep at night. You can ask just mentally to your higher self, can you please send me a dream tonight about the answer to this question? Any question you have, and then pay attention to your dreams. Or can you send me a dream about anything you want me to know about? Pay attention to that when you're waking up in the morning. What dreams did you have? The last way I'll mention is just by writing. So you can get out a notebook and you can say, dear higher self, whatever you want to say, and ask questions, and then perceive what's coming through, and just begin writing. Just write what you're feeling or hearing, and that will just get better and better over time with practice.
Yeah, I love that. And I do want to ask you a quick question about this. So a lot of people, I think, have, and I do often, have time quieting the mind. So I just, like my mind is overactive. How do I, like, even in the morning when I wake up, often I think about what's next. I do set time to meditate. Is meditation like a way to get quiet, or how do we quiet the mind so we can actually hear our higher selves?
Yes, meditation is a way to quiet the mind, and meditation is a way to receive, is a receptive mode of the mind. And it's exactly what we're talking about here. If somebody has trouble quieting the mind, they can use a guided meditation that they listen to, or music, or even go for a walk. Because after walking for a while, our brain will go into that state of receptivity, and to become observant of the thoughts. So, not listening to anything like a podcast. Actually, even sometimes that can help too if we tune it out. It's interesting because the brain does work that way. If we end up zoning out while we're listening to something, it's the zoning out information that's really coming from the subconscious mind, which is the same as the higher self. So either, it can happen automatically that way without trying. But in general, if you want to quiet the mind, you can do an active walking meditation or swimming. It doesn't have to be sitting still or lying down. Whatever works for the person, I would say try various ways.
Yeah, awesome. Well, thank you so much. This has been so enlightening and wonderful for all of us, Stephanie. I appreciate you very much. I know you have a gift for our listeners. Will you tell us about that and how we can also learn more about you?
Yes, it's actually connected to everything we've talked about today. It's a guided hypnosis audio download, and it's called Rainbow Light Healing and Meet Your Soul. So it's an energy healing and a connection with your soul, everything we've been talking about, and I guide you through that. And so anybody can download this for free on my website, which is stephaniecraft.com, and they need to use the coupon code free gift. And you'll see this audio even on the home page of my website. called Rainbow Light Healing Meet Your Soul audio download. And you just click on that and then put in the coupon code free gift, and you will receive the download.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. I'm looking forward to that. I'm going to do that later today. I think it'll be great. So Stephanie, thanks so much for your experience and your knowledge and everything you shared with us today. We appreciate you. And I'm so happy that you decided to be a part of this whole Women Living in Alignment collaboration, because your story in the book is really wonderful. I know people will love reading that. And I imagine a lot of people are going to listen to your meditation as well. Thanks for everything you do.
Oh, thank you so much, Sue. You're very welcome.
Awesome. And listeners, thank you. I know that you are on your own journey of alignment, whatever that means for you, aligning with your higher self, your soul purpose, whatever it is that you are doing in your spiritual life and on this earthly journey. So thank you for being here. Thank you for listening. Be sure to reach out to the authors. They all have wonderful information to share and lots of free gifts as well. And also buy this book on launch day, Women Living in Alignment. If you go to our website, womenlivinginalignment.com, you'll be guided to the Amazon page for whatever country you're in so that you can buy the book. And also on launch day, November 2nd, we do have a 99-cent Kindle launch. So if you're into Kindle, that's a perfect day to buy it. If you'd like the paperback, that is also available on that day. So I know you'll love it. You'll love the stories and connecting with all these authors. Thank you so much for all that you do. I wish you all a beautiful day. Bye for now.